Hey, what is up, everyone? This is Ete with another episode of The Company Next Door. Hope you guys are all doing well out there today, and grateful for you guys for tuning in to another episode. Today, I have a guest with me. I've been trying to get him on for about 7 months, since day one, and he's a busy man. You're a busy guy.
Well, you know, everybody's busy, right? But I've just been making excuses.
Or is it? Yeah. Well, there you go. You heard it. But we got it. We synced it up, and I'm really excited today for a few reasons. One of the things I love about doing this show is, number one, I get to interview founders or creators of companies that I really love, companies that I use, that I enjoy, services. And the second part is I get to interview people that I really respect and admire. And so that's been a fun thing for me in the show. And today I get both. I got a guy here. He's an incredible man, and a recent entrepreneur.
Recent,
okay,
yes.
Yeah.
In the last 2 years.
Yeah, in the last 2 years, but he's going hard and going fast. And so I'm just excited to have you, and I'm grateful for your time because I know you're busy.
Well, thank you. I appreciate you having me on, Ete. This is a great honor.
Awesome. So everyone, this is Travis Wilcox here here in Heber. And his company that he built is called Heber Hatchets. And I love Heber Hatchets. For those of you going, what the heck is that? It's basically an axe throwing company. It's a venue. Is it entertainment?
Entertainment company, yeah.
It's an entertainment company, which, as you know, have been hit the hardest this year in 2020 with the virus. And we're going to ask about that. But it's a blast. I remember when you guys opened, when family comes into town, we take them to Heber Hatchets.
Yeah.
When people come out for Christmas, work parties. It's just a place to go. Place that I love going, and I haven't been able to go for a while. But anyway, so it's just a cool company, cool idea, and kind of taken off. It started just a couple years ago, and just there's a big plan, a big vision, and I'm anxious to find out, with all that's happened this year, if the vision is the same. So anyway, there's my intro. So Heber Hatchets, Travis Wilcox.
Thank you, Ete.
Awesome.
Glad to be here.
How important is the entertainment industry right now with all that's going on in the world? I mean, we've got so much stuff happening. People are stressed. I feel like it's important.
I think it's absolutely important. I mean, you think about all these people that have been cooped up in their homes. Yeah. They're going stir crazy. They need something to do. Get out and do something. And this is really one of those fun activities that people can go do as a family. Everybody can participate. Everybody can learn how to do it. It's not hard. It's just a fun thing to do. So yeah, I think it's really critical right now.
Do you worry about, if the lockdown gets worse with the virus, that we're not going to have the opportunity to get out and do entertainment, and people are going to become more angry, irritated, more likely to riot? Like, is that on your mind at all?
I don't know that I would think that people are going to go out and riot, but yeah, I mean, it's tough. It's tough sitting around. You hear people all the time say, I'm just so sick of being in the house. Or, yeah. I mean, more early on in the pandemic, but
sure.
But it's still that way, So I do think that, yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah, I just worry because I know on the musician side, I just saw a report in 2021, if things don't change significantly, like 90% of the venues are going to shut down soon. And that scares me from the musician side, because for me, going out and having entertainment, it's what takes off the stress. It's what helps me keep my brain balanced.
Yeah. Everybody's got to go out and kind of let off some steam.
Yeah.
And, doing a fun activity with your family or friends or whoever, Yeah. I mean, it really helps to keep us going. We're all stressed day to day, working, trying to make ends meet, and especially right now, people don't have income sometimes because of jobs. But I agree with you. Companies are shutting down, and we're in states right now. We're in a state that we're just barely open. Like 2 weeks ago, they allowed us to start opening up in a very limited capacity. So we went months and months and months without being open, and it's hard to stay open.
Yeah, because you've got overhead. I mean, So for those of you listening, when you go to Heber Hatchets, picture, I guess, a warehouse with these lanes. I don't know, picture bowling, but replace the pins and bowlings with axes and cages and flannel shirts, and that's what we're talking about. And so there's got to be a lot of overhead in the buildings, in the rents, in the employees. So to be shut down for that long,
to build out and just making that all happen. I mean, the rent, keeping employees. I mean, essentially we had to shut down for months.
Yeah.
And it was tough. So I feel for companies out there, and it's frustrating to me when our government doesn't allow us to open or at least give us a chance to show that we can do so in a safe way and allow people to have fun safely, given the pandemic. They just say, no, nothing, you can't do it. And it's frustrating.
Yeah, it's hard when you can't provide for your family, and then you've got all this, like you said, this overhead, no revenue coming in. And I think most of us, I've been not a victim. I'm not a victim of anything. I've been hit by the virus as well. So you just started this company a couple years ago.
Yeah.
Out of all the companies to start, you choose to throw axes for fun.
Yeah.
Are you a violent person, or what's the deal with that?
This it's so weird. It's so weird because this happened in 2 years ago, Christmas. We were doing a Christmas party for our work, for corporate activity, right?
Okay.
People wanted to go they had all these different ideas of what people wanted to do, and some people kept bringing up, let's go axe throwing. I'd never even heard of axe throwing. I'm like, I don't want to go axe throwing. I don't even know what that is.
Yeah, what does that mean?
So I chose Top Golf or something else. I didn't want to go axe throwing, but everybody voted. They decided to go axe throwing, so I went, and I had a blast. It was so much fun. Picked it up really quickly. We had a great time. Everybody loved it. And leaving there that day, I was like, man, this would be really fun to try up in Heber City. We don't have this type of activity up there. We don't have a lot of indoor entertainment in Heber City. And so I just started chewing on the idea and started putting a business plan together. And I don't know how it was just the strangest thing.
Yeah, because surely over the last 20 years, you've done a lot of things that you thought were fun.
Yeah.
But this one, for some reason, you just thought, I'm going to open an
For some reason,
okay.
It stuck.
Huh.
I came home that night. I'm like, told my wife.
Yeah, what is your...
she's like, what are you talking about? Like an axe throwing place? She'd never heard of it or seen it, just like me, So she was... She's supportive of the idea just because she wants to be supportive of me, but I'm sure she had her doubts.
She thought it was a midlife crisis.
About? Yeah, absolutely. And I am probably the most conservative person on the planet. I just don't do crazy things.
You're not a risk taker.
I am not a risk taker.
Yeah.
So on this one, I just felt almost compelled to do this. I don't know if it was just I was in the stage of life I was in, or, I had the means to be able to do it. I don't know what it was, but this caught my attention. I thought it would be really fun, and I just felt compelled to try it.
Interesting. Many people, entrepreneurial, or everybody's got some type of vision. We all get tons of ideas. I get way too many ideas. How did you know this was the one? Or did you know? Or do you even know? How did you?
I didn't know. Like I said, I've never done anything like this before. So, you always think about, this would be a great idea, or this would be fun over the years. You think about that kind of stuff. But nothing ever felt right.
And this one felt right.
This one felt right.
So you go home and you tell your wife, hey, Brenda, we're going to start an axe throwing company. She's looking at you like, okay.
Yeah.
What happened next? Was your idea like, hey, I'm just going to pursue this or research it for a bit to see if it's right? Or was it like, I know this is what I want to do, just 100 miles an hour?
No. I researched it for a number of months. So I went out, researched on the internet. These things were popping up. They started kind of up in Canada. They were back east. They weren't really out here in the West too much. There were a couple of places, but nothing much. But it was a quickly growing industry.
Yeah.
And so started researching that. I actually took my family because I wanted to get their opinion, right?
Yeah.
Like, is this fun? I've got people that they're in their 20s, early 20s. I thought they would be a good group to want to do this.
Because that would be a target,
right?
Yeah, that
target market. So I took them, and they all loved it. They had fun with it. So they're like, yeah, you should do this. And so then I started talking to some people that I respected that were entrepreneurs. Then I said, hey, what do you think about this idea? And we talked through it with them. I actually put together a little presentation, business plan. This is kind of what I would do, and this is how it would work. And then I took a group of these people that I really respect, their opinion, wanted to know how they felt. I took them and went and got their opinions, paid for them to go. And so we, started kicking around some ideas. And then I started to move forward. Started negotiating on a building. I was pretty conservative. I wanted to not do something crazy with rent.
Gotcha.
Right? That scared me, right? To have this rent due, and are people going to come and do this activity? I have no idea. So I wanted to be conservative. And that was probably my first mistake, because I should have been in a little bit better location with our first location, which was here in Heber City.
And mistake meaning you chose that location based on your concern about the rent payment, the
That's
cost.
correct.
Okay.
That's correct.
Gotcha.
Anyway, I chose that place, started the build out, and then I started thinking about some other activities that we could bring in to do this. I started thinking about maybe escape rooms and that sort of thing. So I contacted some guys down in. Actually, it was my daughter that contacted them. She contacted them and said, "Hey, we're going to open up this axe throwing venue. Would you guys want to come up and talk about maybe doing some escape rooms in this venue?" And they're like, "Yeah, well, we'll come up and talk to you." And I had told my daughter, "You know what? I can't even think about that right now. I've just got to get this place open. And
one step at a time.
Yeah, let's not kill ourselves." But she went out and did this.
Wait, is this Whitney we're talking about?
Whitney.
Okay, all right.
Yep. She went out, contacted these people, set up the meeting. They came up. We talked. We hit it off really well. We became business partners.
And this is a company that does escape rooms full time.
Get Out Games.
Yeah, Get Out Games, right.
Yeah,
and they're well known.
Yeah.
So then you became partners. So you merged.
We became partners.
Was that
and
before you opened the doors? Or were the doors
That was
open?
before we opened the doors.
Okay, wow.
Here in Heber. And so then we started looking at another location in Provo because we thought that would be a really...
College town. There's
town.
already escape rooms.
Yeah.
It's the perfect place.
So we started looking places right there in downtown Provo, a really great location. Had a place that we really liked. It fell through, it wouldn't work. The city was like, "What is axe throwing? We don't want you guys coming in here. You're going to be out in like the farmland or something. Well, that's where we'll approve you to be." And we're like, wait a minute, So we talked to them and we got them to agree to it, and so we found a place in Provo. We ended up opening the Heber and the Provo location at about the same time.
Wow, and I know that location down there. That's a prime spot.
Oh yeah.
I mean, you're right off downtown.
Yep, downtown, university right there, and fantastic location. Anyway, things started going really well. We loved it. Things were moving along. We were growing. People were coming in, and we just got really excited about the possibilities of this. So then we started looking at additional college towns. Right? We thought, well, that's got to be our market. We want to go where there's going to be some good people that will come in and they're coming in all year long, right? New students come in every year that haven't done it. So I mean, that's kind of what we decided our target would be.
Sure.
So then we went up to Logan, and we found a place up there and got that one open.
Still in the first year, or is this the second? What?
This was still in the first year.
Wow.
So this was just a number of months. So we opened Heber in July of 2018. We opened Provo right at the beginning of August 2018, and then we opened Logan in December of 2018.
That's aggressive.
It is aggressive.
That's fast.
We were putting everything back in.
Yeah.
We knew that there would be copycats, right?
Sure.
So we wanted to gobble up some markets
before people came in.
Get
the brand established.
Which
loyalty.
again was scary, right?
Yeah.
Because here we're just expanding really quickly, and that was a challenge.
Because that's not your natural you.
The thing that the reason that we did that is because my partners, the Get Out Games guys, they had gone out and started this Get Out Game escape room, and they wanted to do it really methodically, very
strategically planned out. Yeah.
Let's make sure this one's going really well, and then we'll use the money from that to open another one. And that was their expansion model. And all these people just opened up all these escape rooms, and their markets were gone.
Gotcha.
Right? And so they said, we've been there, we've done that, we've made the mistake once, let's not make it again.
Yeah.
And so we decided, let's go do this. We didn't know the size of market that could handle an escape room, right? We didn't know. So we just decided, well, we're going to test some markets, some different sizes of markets. So we started going around to different markets, looking in different cities that there were college towns, and picked a couple in Idaho, went up to Washington, picked a couple up there. And
what was why Washington and why Idaho? I mean, you just said, where's a market like this one in Provo or the college town? Was that kind of...
That was it. It was also, we need lumber. We need lumber. People are throwing it at targets that we have to replace all the time.
Sure.
And so we had contracted with a guy to provide us lumber that was freshly cut lumber and wet, essentially. And we needed it within delivery range of that place, essentially. So that's what we decided to hit Idaho, and then we decided to do Washington.
Wow. So one question, totally random, is when you called up for insurance, and you said, hey, I'm looking for some business insurance. What do? We throw axes at things, and people 12 and up and senior citizens are throwing axes. Did they just look at you like, what are you talking about? Like, I don't know. That just seems funny in my head.
Yes and no. We had to find the right guys that would do it, right?
That seems like a hurdle to me.
There were some out there because all these places back east were open.
That's true, yeah.
And so I knew there were places out there, but when we started contacting local people, they're like, what? What is it? What are you even talking about? Yeah. And so it took some research to find that, but we did and got a good contract with an insurance person.
So within the first year, you've got 3 locations open. And
within the first 6 months.
Yeah. And with the vision at that time, things are going good, economy's going good. This is pre-COVID days. Colleges are actually going to college, something we never could have ever planned. When and maybe you're not there yet, are you comfortable now with the idea of the risk? Like, let's open up 10 more cities? Or was it like every time your partner wanted to open a city, it was like pulling teeth from you?
No. We kind of had an idea that we wanted to probably get up to about 10.
Okay.
We knew we wanted to look at franchising eventually. But we did. We were actively out there traveling around, looking at places that we could go. There were certain states that we wanted to try to avoid because we thought it might be a little bit more difficult to do business there. But, back in the West, we wanted to get places that were close to home. And just started heading out, and it was fun. We actually opened the 2 in Idaho in the beginning of 2019, so in the first quarter.
Wow!
Essentially, and then in May we opened our Spokane location up in Washington.
And just one in Washington.
Well, we're just about ready to open a second one in Washington.
Awesome! Can you tell us where or not
in
yet?
Kennewick.
Okay, cool.
Area.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that's a good area.
We've been ready to open that location since March.
Wow.
And we haven't been able to. So it's just been sitting there and pretty frustrating.
Let me read this because I was just kind of looking around and I'm looking, your Provo location had 613 5-star reviews. I don't know if you even know this. Your Logan at 182, Heber at over 100, Rexburg 194, Spokane 187, Pocatello 123. That's a lot of 5-star reviews.
Yeah.
That's impressive.
It is.
So people are connecting with it. And enough to write like all 5-star reviews.
People come in and they just love it. They come in like me.
Yeah.
They come in, they hadn't done it before.
Yeah.
What is this? I don't know if I can do it. I'm a little tentative in throwing an axe. You take 5 minutes to train them how to do it, and it's interesting. You can sit there and watch somebody, and they're not sticking the axe. Nobody's going to have fun if they're not sticking the axe, right?
Yeah,
so we want to get them sticking the axe. You can watch them, and you can tell exactly what they need to do. It's one of a couple of things, here, go up, make this adjustment, and boom, they start sticking it, and they're all excited, or, they're hitting the bullseye, and we've got games that they can play. Sorry, I keep hitting the mic there.
I should have repositioned it.
Yeah, I am a hand talker,
well,
apparently, right?
Just so you know, I asked him beforehand, are you a hand talker? And he says, I might be, but he is.
Yeah.
So we've got that, and we've got witnesses here on these cameras.
Yeah.
So do you visit over the last 2 years? Okay, so you're building, and I want to ask about COVID here in a second, but what has been your role in the company? You've got a partner, you're expanding, you mentioned checking out new areas, trying to find the right fit. Do you visit the stores? Do you work any of the stores? What do you do?
I don't work any of the stores. I started off working a little bit in Heber as we started going. We were open in the evenings, and I still have a day job. So
all this time?
All this time. Wow. I still have a day job. I did take 1 3-month sabbatical from my day job. My employer was gracious enough to allow me to do that so that I could kind of get organized and get things going, find management to manage these locations. And that's been one of the toughest things is we're not there in person. We can go to the Heber location and the Provo location easily. It's a little bit harder to get to Logan, even harder to get to these other places. So we've got to find good people that we can trust. And we have made visits. Either my partners or me have made visits. We've had some people that we really trust, some of our employees. We say, hey, go up and check out what's going on in this location.
Sure.
See how it's going. But that's been hard for me.
That is the hardest part because this is your baby, and you're just like, hey, you run this. I'm going to be like 1,000 miles away. So how do you find the people, and have you been finding them?
It was interesting. The way that we've done this is we've said, send us a 30-second video of introducing yourself to us.
Cool, like a little resume?
Yeah, a little resume and a 30-second video. Tell us why you think this would be a fun job or why you think you would enjoy doing this. And that's how we've found our people.
And you posted that on
Posted it
KSL,
on Facebook,
okay.
Instagram, and we've gotten it out there, kind of some job markets or whatever, job sites in the different locations, and that's how we found them.
Wow.
So the videos have been very instructive. Like you can tell if someone is going to be engaging with a customer or, whatever it is. The guy that we found up in Spokane, he'd been doing axe throwing stuff with his friends in his backyard for like 20 years, you know. And he's like, "Oh, this would be awesome! I would love it." He showed himself throwing axes with his kids
on his video
in the backyard, right?
Smart.
So he's actually our manager up in Spokane, but it's hard. It's hard to find that person, to trust them.
Yeah.
We've cycled through. We've tried different things. All right, do we hire a college kids to manage it? Do we need to find somebody a little bit more permanent? We've tried different things in different areas. We're still kind of working through that. I think.
So let's talk about this year, because again, the entertainment industry, you were shut down for months, for a while. We can't, there's the social distancing. I believe some of the stores are open, but a limited version.
Yep.
What's it? So tell us about how many, did you have to close all the stores for a period of time?
Yeah. So the pandemic hit, March 15th, everything shuts down.
All stores.
Things were going gangbusters.
Sure.
Our big season is probably August through April or May. That's the big season where, people in the summertime, they're out doing other things.
Right.
So it is a little bit cyclical that way. But things were going gangbusters. March 15th hit, nothing. Big goose egg. We had to shut everything down, and we had to shut down for months.
All of them.
Every one of them. So we had Kennewick ready to open, right when
you were just about to open a new location.
Just about ready to open a new location. Nothing there. So it's sitting there. We've got Spokane, all of them. They're just sitting there. We're having to pay rent, utilities, all of this.
What was it for you? I know what it was for me. And my business doesn't have overhead, commercial real. I don't have to lease spaces, right? I'm a service company, so I don't have all that. But what was it that moment when you had heard that, hey, there's this virus, and I may not be able to feed my family. Obviously you have your day job, so you had some good things happening. But what were some of the thoughts? What were some of the things that happened for you personally, if you can think back?
It was scary. We saw this kind of start going around the world.
Yeah.
At the beginning of the year, and you're thinking, man, it's just going to come to the U.S. and what's going to happen? March hits, they shut everything down. I'm thinking, okay, how long is this going to last? Like, can we go 2 months? Is it going to be where we get through this thing in 2 months and get back going again? We thought, well, we can manage for 2 months. We can handle that. And then it, 2 months turns into 3, 4. And it's just super scary. So because we had done so well, we had some money in the bank, and we're okay. But you go through that, and then where are you?
Right.
So
right. Yeah. So there's a time where it's going to work, but you're back opening some of the stores.
Back opening some of the stores. We started. We actually ended up, and I was really sad about this. We decided to close the Heber location.
We were all sad about that. Yeah.
The decision there was let's focus on recovery in some of our stronger markets.
Sure.
And see what we can do. So that's what we've done. So we closed. We had an opportunity to get out of the lease. We took it and shut down that location. Sad. It's kind of our flagship.
Yeah, well, that's the
meant
thing.
something to me.
That,
right?
That's what I mean. Yeah, that's the baby. That's every yeah.
So that was sad. But opened up Provo first.
Yeah.
And we had to do we could only let so many people in the building.
Okay.
We had to, obviously close down every other what we call bays, which is 2 lanes. So we had to close down every other one.
So half
the
capacity
is half of what it could be, and then we could have 10 people in a bay previously, and then we had to cut it down to you can't have more than 6 in there or something like that.
Wow.
And then you just got got to make sure that you've got the hand sanitizer and all of that. So opened up Provo, kind of partial. We were thinking of doing all sorts of different things. Should we put barriers between the bays so that are isolated? We were thinking of all sorts of different things that we could do, but open it up. We did the same thing in Logan. Later, we were able to open up Pocatello and Rexburg, kind of doing the same thing, and that's how they've been running.
Okay, for the last how many? Just a couple months?
Yeah, a couple of months.
Are people coming out?
They are.
Because that's the talk, right? When they open up the places, nobody's going to come out. Everybody's afraid. That's not what you're seeing.
That's not what we're seeing. Gratefully, people I think were hungry to get out, right? They were like, I am so sick of sitting at home.
Yeah,
give me
night.
something
Yeah, there's
to
nothing
do.
to do.
Right?
There's
give me
nothing.
something
Yeah.
to do, please. And so I was pleasantly surprised that we started getting people right away when we opened up, and people were coming out, and I'm just grateful that they're willing to do that. We're still not anywhere near where we were before, but we're able to keep the lights on. Those 4 locations, the Utah and Idaho locations, kind of helped us maintain the Washington locations that have still. I mean, we're just barely in the last 2 weeks
opening back up,
starting to open up in Washington because of just government mandate there.
So why? I mean, I'm just thinking you got all this going on. So just from a financial standpoint, surviving hasn't been great. Why would you mentioned you're getting ready to open up that Kennewick? What's the thought process there?
Well, we're in the lease.
Yeah, well, okay, gotcha. You already have the building.
We already had it. We already had the build out.
Because it was about to open up.
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
We already had the build out
so
done.
The thought process, let's get the bills paid.
Yeah.
Wow.
So we gotta open it up. We gotta get something coming in so we can get some revenue there.
Wow.
So interesting up there, they said, the government doesn't have rules for axe throwing. They're like, what is axe throwing? It's been this funny thing that nobody understands what it is. Yeah. So they're saying, well, bowling alleys can open up for league play and practice.
Okay.
So we're like, okay, well, we'll take that, and we're kind of like a bowling alley.
Yeah.
We're going to open up for league play and practice. So we said, all right, if you want to come through, here's a small fee that you pay for
a league
That's membership, awesome. And you can come in and practice. And so that's what we've been doing, what we've started to do in Washington.
Wow. So it seems like I mentioned earlier, you have all these people that just love it. The reviews are insane. And you're opening up, people are coming there. So it sounds like you have you've built some loyal fans, some loyal clients.
I think we have. I mean, people do come back. We get repeat customers a lot. We get a lot of people wanting to do a lot of people wanting to do corporate events and bachelor parties and different things like that. And so we started really doing well on the corporate event side, and obviously that's kind of in the tank right now, but we're hoping that will bounce back after we can get through this pandemic.
Have you guys had any super ridiculous things happen? Have you ever witnessed, or one of your managers I don't know, what's the craziest thing could happen? I mean, I know they're in cages. I've been there myself. I know you could throw it sometimes. That thing can come back to you, but anything crazy ever happen?
I mean, you'd be surprised at where people can throw an axe when they let it go. They I don't know. We go in and there's like holes in the ceiling and things. You're like, well, how did somebody throw it and hit that? You know?
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's funny. People do some crazy stuff, and that's the thing. We got to keep them safe, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So we've got to have rules and try to keep people safe, and knock on wood, nobody's been hurt seriously
Right.
or anything like that. We hope that will never happen, of course. But yeah, it's just it is.
No one's going to the hospital yet.
No one's gone to the hospital. It can get crazy though.
Yeah.
It's fun.
So originally you said you were thinking your target market was more these college towns. So take away the COVID. Were you right about that? Like, do you guys still feel is that where you'll continue to go?
I think so. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's where we want to be.
What about downtown and major cities? I guess there's colleges in all major cities. So like downtown Salt Lake, downtown Philadelphia, things like that.
Yeah, I mean, anywhere that there's that demographic around, we that's nearby, we would go there. Bigger markets are better, we're finding, and so that's where we'll target going forward. We're going to kind of stay away from these smaller markets. We tested the smaller markets; they're doing okay, but you just don't get the ROI on it that you do in a bigger market.
I've learned the same lesson. So, what's the plan moving forward now? Has the plan changed? Are you guys hoping to continue to expand and open up more, or are you thinking, let's just survive, or what do you do? With right now, where's everybody's head?
We have. Yes, we are expanding. We've got another location that we're working on right now because we feel like it's going to be a good one.
Awesome.
And we have confidence that we're going to get through this pandemic and things will return to a semblance of normal and people will go out and want to be entertained. We're working on some other activities actually.
In the same buildings?
In the same buildings.
Okay.
So we've got space in almost all of our locations for an additional activity. And we're working on that. We're really excited about it. I'm not going to tell you what that is yet,
gotcha.
Just because we're working through that.
Sure.
But I think it's going to be really fun for people. It's different, and I think people are going to have a lot of fun with it.
So this would be something where could they come then and do both, the axe throwing and then the new activity at the same time, same place?
Yep. Yeah, they could do both. They could do one or the other. We feel like some will come to do one and they'll see the other and want to do that one as well. Maybe not in the same night, but they'll come back.
Sure.
Yeah.
You nailed it. I mean, the first time I went, I just couldn't. You can't not come back. And for those listening, there's this thing called the blue dot. The blue dot, picture like a target board with like what's that game?
Darts.
Think of like a darts, but you're throwing axes. That's kind of, if I could describe it. But on the top, there's this little blue dot. And I mean, this thing's little, but if you can hit it, you get like 10 points, I think, right?
Yeah.
And I mean, I'm obsessed with the blue dot. And
you got to call it though, right?
Well, I don't play that. Yeah, it's like you're supposed to call it blue dot, and then if you get it, you get the 10. I don't play that way. I feel like if you can get the blue dot, you should get it.
You get the 10 points. All right.
But anyway, it's so fun, and it's a blast. How are you at throwing axes? Can you hit the blue dot?
I'll say this, and maybe this is my own pride speaking. This first time that I went, when we went with this corporate activity, I didn't know what axe throwing was. I won the tournament. Okay, wow. I was the champion, and maybe that's why I wanted to do this.
It's a vanity business.
It is a vanity
You did this because
business.
you finally found something you could win at. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, exactly. No, so yeah. I mean, I'm okay. I don't go out and do it as much as I used to in the beginning, right?
Yeah.
Just because I'm super busy with still working my other job,
right,
which has been a blessing through COVID, to be honest with you.
Oh yeah.
So I'm kind of glad that I didn't give that up.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's
you
fun.
love it. You'll go out and throw.
And I got to tell you, it was really fun. We actually had ESPN. For a BYU game day, they called us and they're like, "Hey, we want to come and throw axes. We want to have all our announcers or whatever come and throw axes down at the Provo location." And so we threw a huge party down there, and we had the Cougar Club, student club, come, and we were giving away swag, and we painted. It was the Utah game, right? So so we painted. U's on the targets as the center, bullseye, and ESPN was there throwing and filming, and we got some television time. That was really fun.
That is awesome.
It was great.
Yeah, that was good publicity too.
Yeah.
So you didn't have a background in business, did you?
I
Tell us,
have
what is
an
the other
MBA.
job? What is the other job?
The other job's IT. I've been in IT
okay.
for my entire career.
Okay.
So, got a degree in information systems,
Okay.
and then I did an MBA, and so I've had that. But so I've been in management,
Sure.
managed IT management for most of my career. All right, which it's not like running an entrepreneurial type,
Sure.
my own business. So there's lots of things that
You had to learn on the job?
right, marketing, different things.
Yeah.
I'm still not great at it, but I'm learning. But I could put together the business plan, the numbers,
Yeah.
kind of figure out the ROI on it and what we should charge and those types of things. That was not too hard for me. But marketing, I had the website. I understand websites and the IT part of it, but not the whole marketing aspect.
Yeah, the
and
social media and the branding,
and,
which all of them you've done a great job.
well,
The
I don't know
branding,
if-
the logos.
I
I mean,
hope so.
everything I've seen. I even saw one of your commercials. It was really funny with the Greatest Showman song.
Oh, yeah.
So I was impressed. I think you guys.
Yeah, that was my partner. One of them. He's really creative that
Yeah,
way.
yeah.
So
Interesting. So, what are some of the things that you've learned over the last couple of years? It's like you said, it's a whole new set of shoes when you're going from that to, you're out there on your own, or even with a partner, and it's your thing. What are some of the big one or two takeaways that you would share?
location is important.
Yes, you mentioned that.
Location is important, and we've got great locations, and that's one thing that we did. Heber location was obviously our first one. I was trying to be conservative. It
Sure.
wasn't great. It would have been much better if we would have been on Main Street in Heber, but obviously rent's a lot more there.
Right.
We chose to do that in Provo, Logan, all of them. Spokane was bigger than all of our other locations put together.
Wow.
and it's right on a major thoroughfare, and it was just fantastic. The place was just going gangbusters. You can imagine how hard it is to have that one shut down now since March.
Yeah,
right?
that's painful.
It's painful. So location is really important, and finding the right people to help manage the business.
Okay.
I think was something that was key. You got to find somebody that is responsible, that will take care of problems, that will make sure that the employees are trained and doing what they're supposed to do, understands that this is an entertainment business. If people don't come in and have a great time, they're not going to come back, right?
Right.
And so we got to find people that have that mentality.
Yeah, that
and
personality, the dynamic.
personality.
Sure.
So that's been really a learning curve there as well. My conservativeness and my partners are somewhat that way as well. We didn't have any debt.
Wow.
Until COVID, essentially.
Wow, that's impressive.
So yeah, we were just funding this thing. The growth was funded by what we were doing, and that was great. I'm really glad we were in that position when COVID hit. So we're not completely hosed that way. But I guess maybe we could grow faster if we took on some debt, but it was fast enough for all of us. And
Yeah. No, that's an incredible pace for no debt.
Yeah.
Generally that's how you grow. You borrow, spend. But that's like you said. Anyone who's done that is hurting right now. What's been the hardest moment for you? Because I'll let you answer that. I was about to answer it for you for some reason. What's been the hardest moment where you're just like, man, I don't know. Like, did I do the right thing?
Yeah. I would say just in my busyness, I'm not sure I could have done this when I had little kids at home. It would have been really hard to not be able to spend time with them. My kids are grown, and so it's been a little bit easier that way. My poor wife, right? But I'm just really busy with different things, with my full-time job, with this and other responsibilities that I have, and that's been really hard. Sometimes I've just been like, I can't. I don't know if I can do much more.
Yeah.
Of this,
Do you ever feel like just depleted? Like I have nothing more to give. I have no more bandwidth.
Exactly. I have felt that way a lot, actually. Recently, within the last probably 3 months, we've brought on hired a guy that's kind of starting to manage a lot of the day-to-day business. I was doing that. My partners were doing it. We were trying to, do that together, had split up responsibilities. We brought on a guy, though, to do that for us so that I could kind of take a step back. We've been training him, so it's getting better. And I think that's going to be a good thing for me.
Yeah.
To be able to not be so involved in the evenings, right?
Yeah.
Because that's when I have to do it.
Right.
Evenings, early in the morning, or whatever, and it's been challenging.
How do you know when you've got it? How do you know when you hit your goal? What? How do you know when you're there? Are you there?
I don't know.
Is there a thing?
Well, with the axe throwing, I don't know. I mean, I don't know if we'll expand more or not. We might, but again, they've started popping up all over the place, right? So it's one of those things. It's a trend. Who knows how long it's going to last? Maybe people get sick of it and they don't do it anymore. And I think that's one of the reasons why we are looking at other activities.
Gotcha.
And we're trying to structure this other activity in such a way that we want people to copycat. We want them to copycat, and we will become the distributor of what they need to do it.
And so is that what because I know you mentioned earlier you hope for franchising.
We looked at franchising quite a bit.
Or is that not so much the picture now?
That's not so much the picture anymore. We looked at that quite a bit and actually talked to attorneys. We went through all of that. And we just decided, you know what? It just sounds really challenging to keep this thing the way that we want it to be.
Yeah.
Doing franchising.
Sure.
And, that person, whoever the franchisee is, they're going to want to do it the way that they want to do it.
Yeah.
Right? And that's going to be a battle that we just decided we don't want to fight that battle.
Gotcha.
Maybe that was a stupid decision. I don't know, but
we'll find out.
Yeah.
What's one thing you would say to a young entrepreneur just in the last couple of years? I know you're newer at it, but you've obviously had a ton of experience. What's one piece of advice you would give?
I would say make sure that you try to get a mentor. Get somebody or somebody's number of people that you can pitch your idea to and get their buy-in, right? Get their feedback. Sometimes we want to be protective of our idea. We don't want people poking holes in it, and so we don't share it, right? And so we go out and do stupid things because we don't get feedback. Go out and talk to people that have been through things and had experience, and make sure that you take all of that into consideration as you're building your idea and moving forward with it. You're going to be better off if you do.
What was your biggest mistake? Besides, maybe you already said it, which was you said the location. You were too conservative to spend the money to get the right location. Was that the biggest one, or was it? I love mistakes. People love mistakes, man.
I think that was probably one of them. We've actually have decided to purchase some of the locations that we have that are really hot locations, and so we've gone through that process, and that's been a learning curve as well.
Yeah, it's a whole other business, right? Because now you're in real estate.
Yeah, real estate business, which is way different. But that's been fun. It's been fun to learn all that stuff. I wish that I would have maybe been more clear in the beginning of which locations I wanted to go try to purchase, right?
Gotcha.
So that I wasn't tied into a certain location for an extended period of time. The reason we did is we wanted to protect that revenue, right? Like we didn't want the lease to come up and then they won't renew it or something,
Sure, yeah.
So that's why we did that.
So how has this all been for your wife? I know when I talk to her, she's a friend of mine, so we talk, here at the gym and around town. How has it been though? Is she excited about it? I know you said she'd support you.
Yeah.
Has she been supportive?
She has been absolutely.
Let's talk about Brenda now.
Yeah. She's been absolutely supportive. She's the best. I mean, she trusts me to make good decisions, which I don't know why. Because not all of my decisions have been good ones. Yeah. But I think she saw that I felt compelled, and it was different, right? Because that wasn't me.
So she saw a new side of you?
Yeah. She saw that something was different about this, and maybe you should go forward and try to do this. So yeah, she's been great. She's been super supportive all along the way. She's had great ideas. She's enjoyed going, and she's she's one of the biggest advocates, right? She talks to people all the time.
Yeah, she does. You see
when
her at
we're
the gym.
We're in the grocery store. She'll say, "Hey, have you heard of Heber Hatchets axe throwing? That's us. You should come." And so, yeah, she's just great.
Does she get paid for that or what? No,
Yeah. Not right now. Not during the pandemic.
No, that's crazy. So it sounds like overall you're hopeful that you think it's going to flip around. You think that at some point, some way, we're going to be able to open back up, new locations. It sounds like your head's positive.
I'm positive. We're positive. We hope that it goes that way. I mean, we don't have a crystal ball. Who knows? This thing could all fall apart. I feel bad for so many companies out there that are struggling and have closed their doors or whatever. Gratefully, we haven't had to do that except for the one location. But, there may come a day that happens to us. I feel bad for movie theaters and just any entertainment business that can't be open. It's sad.
Yeah, it's heartbreaking.
It is.
And like you said earlier, the fact that you're not allowed to go out and make a living for your family, that's a little tricky.
Yeah.
So my last question for you is, what are some of the things you like to do for fun besides throwing axes? And
I just love being with my kids.
But they're gone.
They're gone, but we get together and do things. I love to hike. I love to get out in the outdoors and hike and play. I love to play in the water and do those sorts of things. I love snow skiing. I don't get out as much as I would like to. I've been so busy for so long. My wife always said, "You need to get some hobbies. You got to get out and do something besides just working all the time." And I haven't really helped my cause much with opening a business up, but someday I'll have some hobbies. I don't know.
But is it fun? It's so hard. I get it. We all get it. But is it fun for you? Is it?
It is. It's been really fun. I've learned a ton. I've met some great people. I've got some great relationships with my partners. That's turned out really well, and I owe that to Whitney, for going and figuring that out.
Sounds like I need to get her on the phone.
Yeah. And it has been fun. It's been great. I've loved it. At some point, I'm going to want to retire, and there'll have to be an exit strategy at some point. We'll figure that out.
Gotcha. Yeah, not there yet, but it's one pandemic at a time.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you. Thank you for coming down and giving me some time.
Thanks for having me. I tell you, this is fun.
There's some really cool things, but I just love the optimism. I think that's what we need right now. I know a lot of people are just in fear, and I understand why. And, a lot of people are worried and hurting. And so I love that you guys have been hit, but you're optimistic. You're moving forward. You're going to open more stores. It's going to open back up. And I think that's a powerful message. So awesome. Yeah. Like a crash course in business in a couple of years, right?
That's right. It has been that better education there than my MBA, right? I mean, yeah.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, thank you so much. Again, this is Travis Wilcox with Heber Hatchets, locations and more coming, and even some new ideas coming that he won't tell us. So anyway, Travis, thank you. And thank you guys for tuning into this episode of The Company Next Door. We'll see you on the next one.